The weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation were not the only issues at the Constitutional Convention. Questions surrounding federal versus state power, representation of the people versus state representation, the extent of democratic participation, issues surrounding slavery, and arguments between Federalists and Anti-Federalists were other issues at the Constitutional Convention. One of the biggest issues at the Constitutional Convention was the argument between state power and federal power. The Articles of Confederation intentionally created a weak federal government. States wanted to remain independent and be a league of friendship. Changing the Articles of Confederation or creating a new constitution that increased the power of the federal government would be contradictory to the original Constitution. People that championed strong independent states were opposed to this idea. Others favored strengthening the power of the federal government. They saw the weak federal government created by the Articles of Confederation more of a liability than a benefit. The Constitutional Convention saw debate from Federalists and Anti-Federalists. These two groups led the opposing sides on how much power the federal government should have. Federalists supported a stronger federal government. They believed in separation of powers, where different branches would be responsible for different actions. The Anti-Federalists opposed a strong central government. They were still fearful of a strong central government like that of Great Britain. They would eventually lead the push to have the Bill of Rights included into the new Constitution. The Bill of Rights would ensure the government could not take certain rights from the people. Another major issue at the Constitutional Convention were issues surrounding representation. Should each state have the same amount of votes like the Articles of Confederation? Or should representation be based on population? How are slaves going to be accounted for purposes of representation? If representation is based on population, should slaves be included in that population? Or should they be left out of that population since they did not have rights and were considered property? Another major issue at the Constitutional Convention was the extent of democratic participation. Who should be able to vote, and what should people be able to vote for were major questions that needed to be answered.